Here is my November reading wrap up. And I want to first just kind of let you know how I'm feeling about all of this, and maybe you may relate to this. So I am a woman in midlife, and I have been in an industry for 20 years, and I'm burnt out. And I have always had this idea in the back of my mind to talk about books and food, or have a business with books and food. And I've never known what it was going to look like. But I love talking about books, and I love talking and making food. So this is kind of just my opportunity to reinvent myself in a sense and try something new for the pure fun and joy of it. And the reason I'm letting you know that is because I only read 4 books. So for me, it is this comparison situation where I watch other booktubers and they're reading like stacks upon stacks of books. And I'm just not there yet because I'm working, I have kids, and this is not my full-time outlet. This is a hobby for me, and I don't know where it will go, but I'm having fun with it. So if you like to read books, especially books about food, then, feel free to join me. I do read more than just books and food. I actually was on Fable the other day, and you know how it has the little pie chart of like the types of books you read. And I quite literally was even with everything between romantasy, fantasy, literary fiction, regular fiction, romance. It was like completely even. So I do read a lot of different books, but I do love thinking about books and food and how they relate to one another, and reading about books. Or reading about food in books. So that is pretty much what you'll find from me, but also this midlife journey where, I don't know, it's a very strange concept, and at times a little bit difficult when I'm not an empty nester yet, but one has already left the nest, and I have another one leaving the nest this year. So, and then I still have one more. So I have 3 children, but I have a few more years with my daughter. But it's definitely a very different time where you think, I don't know, your whole life you question everything. Okay, so enough about that. I'm going to talk about the 4 books that I read this month. And I'm not going to compare myself to any other booktuber out there because I am my own person, and people that are interested in midlife, wellness, and books about food, you can join me. So the first one is The Sweetest Getaway by Sasha Preston. And Sasha gifted this to me, and I actually interviewed her for my podcast, Novel and Nosh, but you can also watch the video here if you are interested. But The Sweetest Getaway is a heist caper type novel. Think Ocean's 11. And Nari and Jennifer are the main characters in this novel. And Jennifer is one of those young ladies who does not get into trouble. She follows the rule, much like myself. She is a rule follower to a T, and does not, stray from that perfect, I am a person who is going to do good, follow the rules, and just kind of go about my life. Well, she has a friend, Nari, who likes to live on the edge, and Nari has a scheme that she needs Jennifer's help with. Basically, the company that Jennifer works for sells a type of sugar that you can't get anymore, and it has become very expensive. And Nari has a way to sell it on the black market. So she is trying to get Jennifer to join her in this heist so that they can make all the money they need. And of course, it's a situation, it's kind of like a Robin Hood story as well, because of course the company that, this sugar company is not a good company. It is not run ethically. So you kind of are moving through this story, obviously knowing that they're doing wrong, but also rooting for them because the company is not a great company. And it is about, you know, their heist and the people that become involved in the heist, and are any of them, you know, who's working for them, who's working against them. And it's a really fun novel. It's very quick, fast-paced. There are a few little lulls in the middle, but it is still a lot of fun. And there is a lot of food within the book. So if you like books about food, definitely pick this one up, because there is a lot of food within the book. And also, if you like these heisty type novels, definitely grab it. It's a lot of fun, fast paced. You know, it's just like a quick, fun ride that you will enjoy. The second book that I got was Falling Like Leaves by Misty Wilson. So I did not realize this when I purchased this book, that it was a young adult book, even though on the back it clearly states 14 and up. Not sure why. I did not realize this was a young adult book, but it is. I will say that I enjoyed it. It is definitely similar to To All the Boys I've Loved Before. If you like that, you will enjoy this. This is fun. This is very fall-like, obviously, and it's just a good time. I feel like I have a daughter who is, you know, in high school, so I can still relate to this book. There are sometimes books I don't relate to, but for whatever reason, I related to this. I felt, you know, whether I could look at my daughter in this situation or even think about myself in high school, it wasn't terribly angsty like many young adult books can be. It was just a good time. It was a lot of fun. Think kind of Gilmore Girls-y type, but honestly, really, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, it is similar to that in the feeling of it because of this high school relationship. So Ellis is the main character. Her, you know, she's lived in New York, and her mom and her dad make the decision to separate. And she has to go to this small town in, I think, Connecticut. And it is about her having to start school at having to start the next year in a new school, and re-meeting some of the people from her past, and, you know, building relationships from there, living with her aunt and her cousin. And it was a good time. I enjoyed it. It is definitely small town vibes, very comforting, very cozy, definitely a fall book. And I really enjoyed this. The next one is The Honeycrisp Orchard Inn by Valerie Bowman. This is another one. If you have not heard any of my other reading wrap-ups, I definitely am one who likes to read with the seasons. I am a seasonal reader, and this was perfect for that. I am not a big spice girl. Oh, the last book had no spice. Perfect. Loved it. This had some spice. I will say that if I remember correctly, it was halfway between chapter 21, all of chapter 22, and I think that was it. There may have been a small scene a little bit later, but very little. And, well, I should say there was a whole chapter of spice, but it's one that if you don't like spice, you could skip over those chapters, the 1.5 chapters, and you should be pretty good. There might be one other little area, but not anything that I remember completely. I do remember chapter 21 halfway through and chapter 22. This is about Ellie, and Ellie lives in New York City, and she is an event planner, and she and her boyfriend both work at the same place. Well, something happens where she ends up losing her job and ending the relationship with her boyfriend, and has to move back to the small town where her parents run an inn. So she comes back to the inn, she goes upstairs to stay in the attic apartment, and lo and behold, as she's getting ready to open the door, a man comes out, and it happens to be a guy that she went to high school, or that she grew up with, and he is now running the apple orchard on the inn. So she ends up having to help with this harvest festival that they are running. So she's going to do some of the event planning for that to help them run that, and also ends up working with Aiden some more. And it is a lot of fun. There is definitely some spice. There is a lot of, cozy fall vibes, living in a New England town, small town with an orchard, an apple orchard. Definitely a great time. I enjoyed it. If you like those types of books, you will, I'm sure, enjoy it as well. And then the last one that I read was Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. And I didn't realize, so she wrote First Time Caller, which was a little much for me. And I will say, this is spicy as well. I don't know why I'm reading all these spicy books. I think it's hard to find seasonal books that are not romantices, or I'm sorry, not romances. And they all tend to be fairly spicy. But this was a great time. I loved this book. Such a great concept. The main characters, I enjoyed them immensely. So this is about Harriet, and Harriet has, as per most of these types of books, has had kind of like a falling out with her family, and is now working in a small antique shop. She's actually running it because it was her aunt who had owned it, and she is now running this antique shop. She ends up getting a knock on her door, and lo and behold, it is the ghost of Christmas past. And that is Nolan. And it is about Harriet and Nolan trying to figure out what from Harriet's past, like why did he have to come to her to kind of show her through Christmas past, right? If you're thinking of A Christmas Carol. So they're trying to figure out, like, what did she do wrong in her past that they need to see before she moves on to the present and future ghosts. And then also, like, what his past is. So you start to learn about his past as well. And it is just such a great romance. So this is spicy, but not overly, it's not all throughout the book, okay? I don't know chapters, I can't remember the chapters they were within, but it's probably one where once spice starts to occur, you can pass a few chapters if you need to, and then continue on with the story. But I I love this book. I definitely think if you like The Christmas Carol and want to see how it's done through a romance, this is definitely a one to pick up. If you like anything holiday, pick this up. This is great. And I think this one has a bonus portion in the back. I don't know if this is in the other one. It says that it isn't, that this is just Target, but it kind of talks about where the next book comes from. So there is a second book that will be coming out next year as well, which I'm definitely looking forward to. So this is one that I would also recommend. Great, perfect for the holiday season. So those are the 4 books that I've read. If you enjoy books about food, seasonal living, cozy, definitely make sure to subscribe. You can also listen to my podcast or join my Bake and Book Club. Just head to novelandnosh.com and click on Join the Community, and you will be guided to our Book and Bake Club.